Brady bails on his interview because another host on another show called his kid an annoying little pissant. Now, let me break down this for you. I totally understand the idea of, you know what, I don't think you should be able to criticize somebody's kid if they're not entering into the public fray themselves. But here's the deal on the Brady decision. To me, I block people on Twitter immediately if they say something negative about my wife or my kids or, God forbid, my mom or my dad or anybody else. Just because I've got a big audience now on Twitter, and why do I want to deal with somebody who decides that they don't even apply by the rules that the mob follows, okay? You're gone immediately. That's the rule. The mob is you can say usually whatever you want about me until you start blowing up my timeline and taking up too much of my time trying to keep up with your mentions. But the moment you go after my kids or my wife, then I'm going to kick you to the curb and you're not allowed to follow me anymore. All right, here's the question. Brady's situation is a little bit more interesting than that, right? Brady's situation is a little more interesting because he decided to do a reality show. And on that reality show, his kids are featured. Now, I haven't seen the show. I haven't watched the show, so I have no idea what happens from one moment to the next. But to me, that seems like it's a little bit different when you decide that you're going to say that his kid was an annoying little pissant. What if, in fact, the kid was an annoying little pissant? I don't know about you, but sometimes I've got kids who act like assholes. That doesn't mean that my kids are assholes or that I don't want everybody else to call them assholes. But when you are in a reality show which features your kids, why in the world should I allow you to not comment on my family when I've made the decision to do that? I don't know. I haven't seen it. But you should just let it go. I mean, sometimes kids are behaving like annoying little pissants. I'll tell you, I love my kids with every fiber of my being. Why in the world should you not be able to say that? I tell my kids all the time, hey, you're being a brat. Do you want to have to take a nap? To me, annoying little pissant is another way of saying brat. If his kid is being an annoying brat, and no matter how great of a parent you are, somebody out there has got a kid right now who's being an annoying brat. Kids are not perfect. A lot of times they are annoying brats. And so as a result, I don't understand why you shouldn't be able to say that. Moreover, okay, people can say his kid wasn't acting up at all. That's your judgment. I haven't watched it. Why would you demand that somebody be fired for saying it on a radio show? Is that outside the bounds? You're agreeing to do a reality show. When you put your whole family on the reality show, are you telling me that it shouldn't be fair game if somebody decides to say things that are negative about your kids? The entire basis of the Kardashian family's television show is that they're going to get ripped. Now, so I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand that situation. And I just think it's an absurd situation to begin with. And I also, that's a good point. Nobody complains when people criticize the kids on Dance Moms or many other shows. When you make a decision to put your family on a reality show, that, I think, predicates that you are opening them up to criticism. It's why I wouldn't do a reality show with my kids, because I know that once I did, they'd be fair game to be criticized. So I don't understand it at all, why Brady would decide to come out and then say he's not going to go on the show anymore. First of all, I don't understand why Brady does radio to begin with. I don't understand why in the world this guy would do radio, okay? I don't think it makes any sense. I don't think it makes any sense at all for him to do that. But in the grand scheme of things, money. People say, oh, he's doing it for money. How much more money does Tom Brady make? How much money can the radio show possibly pay him in order to make it worthy for him to do that? The guy makes 20 some odd million a year. Even if he gets the biggest payment I've ever heard of a guest getting, $500,000 a year to go on that radio show. That's a drop in the bucket for Tom Brady. And that would be the highest dollar figure I've ever seen anybody receive to be willing to go on radio. That's far in excess, I bet, of what WEEI pays him. So it just doesn't make any sense at all. His NFL salary is $14 million, but his NFL salary is a drop in the bucket of his overall earnings because he's married to Giselle, who makes more money than he does. And whenever he decides to stop playing, he's going to be able to make money forever. So I just don't understand it. I mean, it's never made sense to me. But if you're going to do that, it certainly doesn't make sense for you to go on and block somebody based on that situation. It just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense at all for you to be able to go on radio. And if you don't want your privacy, why do a reality television show? I don't think it makes any sense. So that's my theory on that. Any questions at all from you guys? Because I understand parents are out there. I say this as a parent. Every parent is different. But there's no point in time where I would go on a radio show and be like, hey, if you rip my kid, I'm no longer going on your radio show. Like, I would kind of expect that you wouldn't rip my kid, but I certainly wouldn't get so worked up that I would turn it into a national story. Because otherwise, why would I ever do that? So again, that just doesn't make sense to me. I think it's going to turn into a big story because I guarantee you Brady's going to get asked about it tonight. And it's going to be written about because there's not going to be a lot of other situations. Again, when you do a reality show, you are making the decision that you are going to put your family in the mix. And so I think it's hard to argue anything other than that's the story, right? I think it's a strange kind of situation in general that he would make it a story during the Super Bowl. I think it's a poor miscalculation of what Brady's doing.